10 News Wikipedia News Edition. On 6th episode is Chrome. Or should I say, Google Chrome. Google Chrome is a cross-platform web browser developed by Google.
It was first released in 2008 for Microsoft Windows and was later ported to Linux, Windows, iOS, and Android.
Still waiting.
The browser is also the main component of Chrome OS, where it serves as the platform for web apps. Most of Chrome's source code comes from Google's open source Chromium project, but Chrome is licensed as proprietary freeware.
WebKit was the original rendering engine, but Google eventually forked it to create the Blink engine. All Chrome variants except iOS now use
You
Blink.
have some kind of sick pleasure in this.
As of April 2020, StatCounter estimates that Chrome has a 68% worldwide browser market share after peaking at 72.36% on traditional PCs and 64% across all platforms.
Because of this success, Google has expanded the Chrome brand name to other products: Chrome OS, Chromecast, Chromebook, Chromebook, Chromebox, and Chromebus.
Google CEO Eric Schmidt opposed the development of an independent web browser for 6 years.
Whoa!
He stated that, at the time, Google was a small company and he did not want to go through bruising browser wars.
After co-founders Sergey Brin and Larry Page hired several Mozilla Firefox developers and built a demonstration of Chrome, Schmidt said that it was so good that it essentially forced me to change my mind. In September 2004, rumors of Google building a web browser first appeared.
Online journals and U.S. newspapers stated at the time that Google was hiring former Microsoft web developers, among others.
Get up. Get up.
It also came shortly after the final 1.0 release of Mozilla Firefox, which was surging in popularity and taking market share from Internet Explorer, which was suffering from major security problems.
Development of the browser was led by Sundar Pichai.
William, get up! Get up!
The release announcement was originally scheduled for September 3, 2008, and a comic by Scott McCloud was to be sent to journalists and bloggers explaining the features within the new browser.
Copies intended for Europe were shipped early, and German blogger Philip Lemson of Google Blogoscope made a scanned copy of the 38-page comic available on his website after receiving it on September 1, 2008.
Google subsequently made the comic available on Google Books and mentioned it on their official blog along with an explanation for the early release.
The product was named Chrome as an initial development project code name because it is associated with fast cars and speed.
Google kept the development project name as the final release name, as a cheeky or ironic moniker, as one of the main aims was to minimize the user interface Chrome. The browser was first publicly released on September 2, 2008 for Windows XP and later, with 43 supported languages, officially in beta version, and as a stable public release on December 11, 2008.
On the same day, a CNET news item drew attention to a passage in the Terms of Service statement for the initial beta release, which seemed to grant a Google license to all content transferred via the Chrome browser.
the general Google terms of service.
Google responded to this criticism immediately by stating that the language used was borrowed from other products and removed this passage from the terms of service.
Chrome quickly gained about 1% usage share.
After the initial surge, usage share dropped until it hit a low of 0.69% in October 2008.
Whoa!
It then started rising again, and by December 2008, Chrome again passed the 1% threshold.
In early January 2009, CNET reported that Google planned to release versions of Chrome for OS X and Linux in the first half of the year.
The first official Chrome OS X and Linux developer previews were announced on June 4, 2009, with a blog post saying they were missing many features and were intended for early feedback rather than general use.
In December 2009, Google released beta versions of Chrome for OS X and Linux.
Google Chrome 5.0, announced on May 25, 2010, was the first stable release to support all three platforms. Chrome was one of the 12 browsers offered on Browser Choice UK European Economic Area users of Microsoft Windows in 2010. Chrome was assembled from 25 different code libraries, from Google and third parties such as Mozilla's Netscape Portable Runtime, Network Security Services, and the API, dropped as of version 45. Geographics Engine, Spike, and a number of other open source projects.
The V8 JavaScript virtual machine was considered a sufficiently important project to be split off, as was Adobe/Mozilla's Xamarin, and handled by a separate team in Denmark coordinated by Lars Bakken-Arnes.
According to Google, existing implementations were designed for small programs where the performance and interactivity of the system weren't that important, but web applications such as Mail are using the web browser to the fullest when it comes to DOM manipulations of JavaScript, and therefore would significantly benefit from a JavaScript engine that could work faster. Chrome initially used the WebKit rendering engine to display web pages.
In 2013, they forked the WebCore component to create their own layout engine, Blink.
Based on WebKit, Blink only uses WebKit's WebCore components while substituting other components, such as its own multi-process architecture, in place of WebKit's native implementation.
Chrome is internally tested with unit testing, automated testing of scripted user actions, fuzz testing, as well as WebKit's layout tests, 99% of which Chrome is claimed to have passed, and against commonly accessed websites inside the Google index within 20 to 30 minutes.
Google created Gears for Chrome, which added features for web developers typically relating to the building of web applications, including offline support.
Google phased out Gears as the same functionality became available in the HTML5 standards.
On January 11, 2011, the Chrome product manager, Mike Jazzieri, announced that Chrome would remove H.264 video codec support for its HTML5 player, citing the desire to bring Google Chrome more in line with the currently available open codecs available in the Chromium project, which Chrome is based on.
Despite this, on November 6, 2012, Google released a version of Chrome on Windows which added hardware accelerated H.264 video decoding.
In October 2015, Cisco announced that it was open sourcing its H.264 codecs and would cover all fees required. On February 7, 2012, Google launched Google Chrome Beta for Android 4.0 devices.
On many new devices, with Android 4.1 and later pre-installed, Chrome is the default browser.
In May 2017, Google announced a version of Chrome for augmented reality and virtual reality devices. Google Chrome features a minimalistic user interface, with its user interface principles later being implemented into other browsers.
For example, the merging of the address bar and search bar into the Omnibox.
Chrome also has a reputation for strong browser performance. Chrome allows users to synchronize their bookmarks, history, and settings across all devices, with a browser installed by sending and receiving data through a chosen Google account, which in turn updates all signed-in instances of Chrome.
This can be authenticated either through Google credentials or Sync Passphrase.
The first release of Google Chrome passed both the ACID 1 and ACID 2 tests.
Beginning with version 4.0, Chrome has passed all aspects of the ACID-free test.
As of May 2011, Chrome has very good support for JavaScript/ECMAScript according to ECMA International's ECMAScript Standards Conformance Test 262, version ES 5.1 May 18, 2012.
This test report says the final score the number of tests a browser failed, hence lower scores are better.
In this test, Chrome version 37 scored 10 failed/11,578 passed.
For comparison, Firefox 19 scored 193, failed/11,752, passed, and Internet Explorer 9 has a score of 600 plus failed, while Internet Explorer 10 has a score of 7 failed.
In 2011, on the official CSS 2.1 test suite by standardization organization W3C WebKit, the Chrome rendering engine passes 89.75%, 89.38% out of 99.59% for CSS 2.1 tests. On the HTML5 Web Standards test, Chrome 41 scored 518 out of 555 points, placing it ahead of the 5 most popular desktop browsers.
Chrome 41 on Android scores 510 out of 555 points.
Chrome 44 scored 526, only 29 points less than the maximum score. We will continue about Google Chrome in part 2, so stay tuned.